This time, I want to speak about technology and how it actually moves us. If it's used wrong, it can move you really backward spiritually, and let's not say spiritually in your life. What's the basic meaning and intention and behind life process, behind life itself? If you see the nature of thought, of your thinking, your thought process becomes positive and creative only when it has an ideal. What do I mean by that? What is an ideal? How can we define it specifically? It's something in its ideal state. For example, your ideal health, your maximum health, or your maximum wealth, or your maximum state of relationships with others. If you have the basic premises, if you can determine your environment, if your inner life dominates and expresses itself in the environment, then you are happy. Then your thought process is positive. If you want your maximum relationships and you go out and make that happen, or you enjoy your life, of course your thought process is positive. The trait of negative thought process is this, that your environment is stronger than the inner child. When you cannot assert and express yourself in your environment, your thought process becomes negative. For example, this is a common trait because if you see people having negative thought process, they're pessimistic and stuff. They use phrases like, "Oh, what can we do? This is how it is." The government, or they have, the accusatory perspective. They pointing fingers and they don't take responsibility for themselves. I'm not trying to be authoritarian right now and tell you what to do, but if you don't try to express yourself, to use yourself, whatever you think is yourself, in its maximum possibility and possible way, you're not going to be positive. That means expressive and assertive in your situations in life. So, having said that, this is a trap because it's a subtle and nuanced distinction that needs to be made. In the beginning, from the beginning of time, as human consciousness evolves, of course, there are some things that man needed to enhance. That's why he controlled his environment, of course. That's the process of exploring consciousness, and that gave him technology. He created things, machines, that could do things that he was not yet able to do. So, by definition, you shouldn't compare yourself with a machine, with something that you made. Now, if, like I said, the basic premise is the spirit needs to govern the material universe, the environment, but you have created a material environment so strong that you cannot control anymore. and it actually dominates you, you end up in the second category of negative thought process. Because then if you say, oh, what can we do, this is how it is, the environment is so strong, the internet, the fast-paced life, all this stuff, then you lose your soul. Then the inner child, the spirit, it's hard to find expression, and that's a real problem. And it's a trick, because inside, of course, you need an ideal, a perfect image that you strive for. So whenever the environment tries to gives you another direction, you have something to fight for, so you don't go astray. That's positive, that's good. But if it happens inside of you, if it happens outside of you, have an environment so ideal, so strong with technology, then it's difficult to win that fight, because now it's the environment dominating the individual and not the other way around, and that's wrong. It shouldn't be that way, because it's a different thing going after an ideal, and another thing trying to fit in an ideal machine. I don't have any problem with machines. What I mean is, even as self-help, you try to become what? A machine, like a cyborg. You try to become like perfect timing, everything, and increasing your speed, and you actually try to fit in something that you made. You create something that by definition you shouldn't even try. No, you shouldn't even try. You cannot become, because you're organic human, and this is the evolution of technology, merging consciousness with electronic sense. And it's not bad, but without consciousness behind it guiding the evolution, and not uh, a technology and a mental thing that is physical. Physical shouldn't be the driving force. Physical is the material, is the blocks, it's the process. It's not, you don't ask a hammer, what should I do? It's stupid. You created a hammer to use a hammer to fix things in your environment. But if your environment becomes too good and almost independent from you, then what's the point? You shouldn't ask your environment what's the point. You are the point. You create meaning. You give life meaning. You give life actually. You are life. I feel, and I hope if to strive, and I hope we strive to use this in the coming years to our advantage and not disadvantage.